Hi everyone, I'm Robert Spencer. Welcome to Moving Beyond. This is part 3 of our series on moving in the vertical dimension, up and down in the field of gravity. Now 2 videos ago, Faye showed you a way to move from sitting to standing and standing back to sitting in a chair in a way that's very easy and very safe. 1 video ago, Ellen showed a way of expanding that to move from standing to sitting on the floor and then getting back from the floor to standing again. I want to do that same thing today, but in a different trajectory, just another option for you to have. This one is really kind of fun though, and it illustrates a few basic but very important points in having well-organized movements. So these lessons generalize to all of our activities, not just this one of getting up and down from the floor. So the first one we talked about before is called reversibility. It means that you make a movement into a new position and you can just put it in reverse and come back along the same pathway to get out of it. If you do that and you gradually build the movement down to the goal, you'll have a very safe situation indeed. What's dangerous is to fall into a position or to launch yourself into a position, and then when you get there you can't get back the way you came in. You have to improvise, or you're in a survival situation, and who knows, just good luck with that. Now, the second one, the second principle, I have a sort of flippant way of talking about it, and it's this. If the pelvis stops, so do you. If the pelvis stops, so do you. It's the center of movement for a human being. I'll show you in the movement today. It's pretty obvious, but the pelvis has to make a trajectory and it must continue to move. If I stop this movement of my pelvis at any point in the movement, suddenly I'm stuck. It becomes very difficult to either go forward or get back. I'll be stuck in the spot. Now, the third one you'll see, and I'll mention it in a video, is counterbalance, where I try to keep an equal amount of weight forward of my feet as I have behind. And that balances the weight fore and aft, and it minimizes the strain, especially on knees or hips or ankles. So those 3 principles, reversibility, the continual movement of the pelvis, and counterbalance, I'll show you in the movement right now. Okay, I'm going to slightly turn sideways so you can see the various dimensions of this movement. It's going to start with me picking a spot out there somewhere in front of my right foot, and I'm going to bring the palm of my left hand towards it. This is be a little easier for the camera angle. To do it that way, you can use either side you want, and in fact we want to be able to do it both ways. So to make sure it's reversible, I just bring the palm of my hand towards that spot and then make sure I get back. Look, go there, and I can get back. Now, there are several things to notice here. Foremost of these is the movement of my pelvis. You'll see that to bring my hand, my pelvis starts to turn forward, and it starts to descend. I'll do that by letting my hip joints bend back. And because the weight of my rear end going back needs to be counterbalanced, I let the top part of me and my head come forward just enough to stay in balance. And then little by little, I build this movement. I build the movement until I can touch and still get back up. Look at this spiral. Now, once I can touch that spot, I can start to put more weight on my hand. I can actually lean on it, and the pelvis coming back, especially this hip joint, spirals up and back, and then I'm up facing you again. Now, once I can put weight on that hand, there will be a gap between my right knee and my left elbow where I can start to put my left knee in that gap, just like this. Comes through, and I spiral back. Now watch where I can go if I do that a little farther. I can sit down without a bump, without falling at all. Then I lean, I've got my right leg in front of me, I lean on my left hand, the opposite hand behind, and spiral my pelvis, and I come back up. Reversible, the pelvic trajectory continues throughout. There's absolutely minimal amount of force involved in this. Once again, I'll show you. Now I'm sitting the opposite way I started. And I can fix that any way I want, or if I want to make sure I'm facing that way when I end up, then I just start it from here, from this side. It's based on an old martial arts move in which you could rise from sitting to face some kind of threat coming from behind you. So, continue to keep your movements reversible. Get into the trajectory of the pelvis, because if the pelvis stops, so do you. And then live long and prosper, my friends. I'll see you next time. Thank you.